Number 10 did not get off the field prior to the punt. 5 yards, re-kick.
Oh, that was on Sean King.
The play before.
Remember, he was over on this side.
Yeah.
And they went in and they punted, and Sean King had to go back to his side all the way across the field. You see, you're going to see Sean King is right here.
Yep.
Now the punt team is coming up to the line of scrimmage. Well, let's see if he gets off. It looks like he slowed up. Oh, he's yeah. He just started to slow up. I mean, that was slower than old people walk.
That comes under the category of nitpicking.
Yeah, but I mean, it's nitpicking, but he was on the field.
Yes, he was.
And that's discipline. You got to get off the field. You have to get off the field before the next play. And you can't be what they call lollygagging.
Is that what they call it?
Yeah, he was lollygagging on the field. So that gave him 11 players and 1 lollygagger.
I bet you they don't do it again.
Okay, now he's going to direction. They're going to direction to this side, because the return is to the side where the 2 guys are.
Well, here's Dion. And he slipped down as he made his cut.
Good directional punt. I mean, they're really pinning him in because they know which side the return's going to be to. So he's directional punting away from the side of the return. So when Dion catches that ball, he has no blockers there for the return.
5:07 left to play in the first half. The Bucs continue to lead the Redskins 7-0.
You know, and you know, I mean, at some point people are going to say, well, how about Jeff George? Now, Norv Turner says, I don't have 2 quarterbacks here. I have 1 quarterback. Brad Johnson is my quarterback. The only way he comes out is if he gets hurt.
Brad Johnson's done nothing wrong. Davis to the 20.
He's done nothing wrong, and he hasn't got a lot of protection. He's hung in there. Just look at some of these hits that he's taken today. I mean, they've knocked Brad Johnson every way but loose.
And they knocked the ball loose one time. That's how the Buccaneers got their only score.
You know, I was saying how the Buccaneer defense, and just on those shots there, they really do remind me of the Ram offense.
Put those 2 together and you'd really have something, wouldn't you?
I'd come back and coach.
Davis doesn't get. He might get a yard.
See what they do. They get John Lynch up there. You see number 47. In fact, he's helping guys up. And what they do, they bring him up on one side. They brought him up on the left side. And you're going to see, here's John Lynch here. Now what they do is they bring him up on one side. Now when they bring him up, they're going to slant the line away. So they have him as the X-ray. Then they slant the line this way. So you're either running into John Lynch or you're running into the line slant.
3rd and 4, and Brad Johnson goes back. Irving fire at midfield. Dexter Jackson knocked him out of bounds.
The old Rev was just running away from Rondé Barber on that thing. And Brad Johnson has had all kinds of pressure on him all day. Really hung in there on that one. Watch him hang in there. He's going to get the pressure. He sees Fryer coming across right there. And boom, he hits him right in that hole.
A gain of 29. If you watch Warren Sapp, you see he thought a screen was coming. He had a clear track to Brad Johnson and pulled up.
And he's starting to cover the screen.
Yeah. This is Davis. And Davis to the 10. Davis in the end zone. Boy, they struck in a hurry.
Yep, the big pass play, Irving Fryer, and then the big run. You know, you can never forget your run. And they didn't forget Stephen Davis. But I'll tell you, anytime there's a big run, a wide receiver's going to make a block. Albert Connell, down about the 5-yard line, made a heck of a block to get Stephen Davis in that end zone.
Michael Houston, the ex-Buccaneer, with a chance to tie. He's been a little shaky. enough this time. 7-7. 3:14 left to play in the first half.
Right here, getting a little good push out and a cutback. Now watch number 83, Albert Connell, right here. He's going to make that block right there, and that's the one that springs him free into the end zone.
That's
Good
what
block.
he needed.
There was a good block at the line of scrimmage. Good running by Stephen Davis, and then Connell getting the block at the end.
A good block set it up by Jay Lewinberg.
And Jay Lewinberg's in there for Trey Johnson. You're going to see Lewinberg. He's the guy that makes the block right there.
Yep.
Just that little thing, and that sprung him. And then when you get Stephen Davis in there making those moves, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are a good tackling defense, but Stephen Davis made them look like a bad tackling defense.
Albert Connell, who just made that block that John was talking about.
They've been working on him.
Yeah.
It seemed like this whole quarter, every time we look at him there in the sideline, he has someone with him. He's getting oxygen.
Longest run this season.
Yeah, something's wrong with Albert Connell. Oh, that was a heck of a hustle and a heck of a block. And that's the way you have to play football. You need 11 guys on every play going all out.
Stecker is back deep for Husted's kick. Doesn't make it back to the 20. The Monster.com blimp Trump is providing us with these live aerial shots of the game today. Monster.com operates 2 blimps in the U.S. Trump is the name of the green monster on the front of the blimp. He is the flagship monster for Monster.com. You can read more details about Monster.com's blimps on their website. The Hogs are...
Yeah, it's good to see the Hogettes. It's always nice to have the Hogettes at the game. They even go on the road sometimes. Now listen to this crowd.
King gives to Dunn. Tie score, tied at 7.
Yeah, the biggest improvement I've seen in the Redskins is in their defense. You know, you look at them, and last year they were 30th in defense, and they played like a 30th defensive team and had a good offense. And this year they went out and got Bruce Smith, and they got Mark Carrier, and they got Deion Sanders, and they're playing well. But all the other guys are playing well and a lot better, and they're tackling a lot better than they have in the past.
They drafted Arrington. Here's Warwick Dunn. Not much for him. Marco Coleman.
Marco Coleman is a guy playing a lot better on this side. Here's the guys I was just talking about. Deion Sanders. Look how many Pro Bowls these guys have been. Deion Sanders 8 times. Bruce Smith 11 times. Mark Carrier 3 times. And as you added, Arrington is the starting linebacker now. And this is a good defense. And where they're good is they're good tackler. I mean, just like that last play. They swarm, they get to the ball. In fact, they're playing a lot like Tampa Bay's defense is now.
Tackling is a matter of wanting to do.
There he is, and there's a guy that has really helped him. We talked about the players and also the new defense. A lot of emotion and very good scheme.
3rd and short. Here's King. Drops it outside, and the pass is almost intercepted by LeVar Arrington, who cut in front of the intended receiver.
If he makes that thing, if he makes that interception, that was going to be a touchdown. We just got the word on Albert Connell that he does have the flu, and they're just trying to get him through this game.
Deion Sanders standing back at the 30. Mark Royals back to punt for Tampa Bay.
Now they have a double on both sides, so it's probably a middle return.
Deion gets on the ground. Somebody really had him zeroed in. Ladies, if you like competitive sports, Fox has the show for you.
With and knocking him all over the joint, and then Then they went back and they got a little solid and they started getting some running going. And I think that's going to help open up things.
Brad Johnson, shuttle pass to centers. Caught it and just dropped it to Larry Centers, and they got maybe a yard. 2 minutes left to play in the first half. 7-7 tie. Coming up on the Visa halftime report, JB and Terry will have scores and highlights from around the league, and our Fox Sports ticker will have up to the second stats. That's all coming up on the Visa halftime report. 2nd and 7. 7-7 tie. Brad Johnson in the shotgun.
Buccaneers are in a 3-man line.
Johnson underneath. Centers, shakes one tackle, jumps the rest of the swarm, and the clock continues to run.
That's it. He's trying to high jump that thing. That's not bad. I mean, he darn near did get over the helmet timeout.
Here's Brad Johnson quickly to Steven Alexander as the Redskins move into Buccaneer territory.
Redskins going without a huddle here, still have 2 timeouts. They need about 10 more yards to get in field goal range.
Johnson underneath. Alexander again to the 35.
They need some more yards because right now, at this point, this would be a 52-yard field goal.
Redskin timeout. Now they have 1 left.
The thing that Norv Turner is talking about here, you have first down. At some point, you want to get in field goal range first. And then you get in field goal range, and then you want to take your shot at the touchdown. He doesn't have a lot of confidence in this kid. I knew you would. I just saw your body language when I said shank and yips.
1st and 10. Pressure on Brad Johnson. That took him out of field goal range.
And they're going to have to use a timeout now.
Warren Sapp.
He's going to take too much time doing this.
Just over a minute. Comes under the center. And Warren Sapp chasing again. He just does get rid of it. Anthony McFarland also in pursuit.
See, now they're out.
Johnson back to throw. Flag on the play. He gets it underneath to James Thrash, but that still is not quite enough. Derek Brooks made the stop.
Yeah, it's not quite enough, as you say, for anything. It's not quite enough for field goal range, nor is it quite enough for, obviously, a first down.
And the penalties against the Redskins.
I think this is one that Tampa Bay would turn down, make it 4th down, because they can't kick a field goal.
Illegal formation on the offense. Both end men were in the backfield. Penalties decline. 4th down.
As you said.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing that Tampa Bay had to do, because they did stop him, and there's no chance here to do this multiple formation. You have to get out and get in him and get set.
High punt from Barnhart. Bounces into the end zone. Don't forget, coming up on the Visa halftime report, Jay.
Like they're starting all over again.
Sean King back. Wrapped around his feet was number 99, Marco Coleman.
Marco Coleman's having a big year. You know, he'd been the right defensive end, and then they moved him to left defensive end, and now you just see that he's playing inside. He's going to be right here. He's the 2nd guy in, and he's just down there in the ground, and he just keeps playing. I mean, he played tackle on that position, but, you know, you talk about a quarterback, you know, how you have to have a clock in your head. Well, Sean King has to know by now there's nothing else he can do.
That was good effort.
Yeah, Marco Coleman just kept playing while he was on the ground.
And the Buccaneers will just run out the clock.
that have gone through, and let's start with the big one in the AFC East. The Colts visiting the Bills leading 9-0, but not for long. Late first half, Peyton Manning Marvin Harrison makes that look so easy. It's embarrassing, and the Bills start to struggle a little bit. Here we are early in the fourth. Manning again, Terrence Wilkins, and that puts the Colts up in front, but not for long. Just over a minute remaining. Rob Johnson, who had an impressive day, a 40-yard pass to Eric Mould. Surely that's it for the Bills. No. Manning steered him into field goal range. Mike Vanderjagt with a 45-yarder as time expired to win it for the Colts. Baltimore shut out the Browns. An interception here by Rod Woodson. Interestingly enough, that's 3 shutouts this season, including back-to-back shutouts now. The last team to do that was the Bears in 1985. They would go on to win the Super Bowl that year. An omen, perhaps. Dallas and Carolina. It was Carolina on the board first. Tim Biakabatuka with a 17-yard run. Emmitt Smith would then reply for the Dallas Cowboys, an 8-yard run, his 150th career TD. It went into overtime before it was settled in favor of Dallas. Plenty of offense in Detroit. Here's Charlie Batch looking for Jermaine Crowell. He of the circus catch, but that's a fairly routine one. Dante Culpepper seems to be getting better and better. He's looking for the big number 84. He finds him once. That for 65 yards. He likes number 84. He's going to look for him again. Look for Randy Moss's leaping ability here. That's what he does better than anyone else in the game. Detroit weren't finished, though. They tie it up with 12 minutes remaining. Batch taking off, seeing a hole. We're level. But Culpepper and Moss hadn't quite finished. Moss would finish with 7 catches, 168 yards, and that the heartbreaker. The Giants are falling away. Steve McNair now back to full health, making it look easy here. There's a touchdown pass, 15 yards to Frank Wycheck. Big Frank goes in. Now Eddie George on the ground, 7 yards. This his first 100-yard rushing day of the season so far. Great blocking up ahead. Tennessee really in cruise control here. It's Steve McNair to Derek Mason, who had 6 catches on the night. 10 straight wins at the Adelphia Coliseum, a new NFL record. Pittsburgh have never won in Jacksonville until now. This is a real shock. And Jacksonville looking very flat. Chris Fuamatu Ma'afala opening it up 5 yards straight up the gut. Jerome Bettis had a couple of touchdowns, including this 3-yarder. Big upset in Jax. No upset in St. Louis. The only story really is, what does Kurt Warner do next? 4 touchdowns. That one to Isaac Bruce. That a 9-yarder. There's more to come. He's looking for Marshall Faulk now, 13 yards. He'd got almost 300 yards through the air in the first half. When they took him out of the game, he'd completed 24 of 30 for 390 yards. Here's touchdown number 3. This one to Torrey Holt. Little twinkle toes from Torrey. And then just to finish it off, Isaac Bruce again. And then they took him out early in the fourth quarter, and Trent Green came in and threw a touchdown pass as well. Simply no stopping those Rams right now. So just to confirm the scores, the Colts winning with the last kick, 18-16. Baltimore shutting out Cleveland. Dallas winning as well, and Minnesota winning in Detroit. All those games won on the road. Look at that. Tennessee Titans, they won at home. But Pittsburgh maintained the road warrior tradition. But San Diego, well, they put up points, but you can't get a win against the St. Louis Rams these days. Now, these are our games in progress.
Most of it on that touchdown run by Davis.
The Bucs only have 43 yards of passing. Look at this. Bucs have missed 7 tackles
that's
now.
Unusual.
That's very unusual. And then, of course, the big thing, the Redskins have a turnover, and the Bucs got their 7 points off that turnover. Time of possession really isn't that big a deal. And I was just talking to Sam Huff, you know, the old linebacker, and that's going to be the Bucs' problem all year, is getting the passing game going.
Aaron Stecker returning it for Tampa Bay out to about the 30. The first half book on Sean King.
Well, you can see he hasn't thrown a ball over 15 yards, or completed a ball, attempted 4 over 15, and all his completions have been to short. In fact, he's averaging 5.9 per completion.
That's not quite good enough.
No, that's a short passing game, and you have to have the middle and the deep passing game to go with that, or you don't have a pro passing game.
Deshaun Johnson in motion. That's Warwick Dunn. Caught behind the line first by Dan Wilkinson.
Dan Wilkinson got penetration. And those two tackles, Stubblefield and Wilkinson, are really playing better than they did a year ago, and I think Bruce Smith has something to do with that.
That contagious thing you were talking about earlier.
I think so, and then I think taking Marco Coleman and moving him over on the other side, this is a much better front four than they've had in years.
2nd and 11. Done. Can't get nothing done. Marco Coleman.
And Marco Coleman, you know, he's playing, he's all fired up, but the thing is, he can run too. Watch what he does. He's right here. He's going to take it inside and then boom, flatten right down the line. Now that's the thing you have to do. You have to go not where the runner is, but where he's going. Watch him come to that contact point right there, lay out, and make a heck of a tackle. This is the way you have to play football. I mean, pull right down the line, or lay out, and make that play. That's pretty doggone good.
Yep. 3rd and 12. Passing down for Sean King. Here come the Redskins. Pass incomplete. Intended for Riddell Anthony, who never looked back.
Now the Redskins, if they can get a good punt return here and get good field position, they can take this game over. And I don't think it has to be with a quick strike or a deep pass. I think it has to be a combination of running and passing. But I think running has to be a pretty big part of it.
Mark Royals back to punt. And Deion Sanders deep for the Redskins. Deion signaled fair catch wisely, and so the Redskins will take over at their own 31-yard tie with John Madden, Pat Summerall, and Landover, Maryland. This was just moments ago as Keyshawn Johnson went over to Sean King. Deion getting stretched.
Yeah, I just saw Deion come and get on his back, and they're working on him right here in front of us.
Stephen Davis, the ball carrier.
I'm just watching him down there because it's right in front of us. It looks like they're trying to stretch his hamstrings. And that's what you would do when you put a guy in that position and do that to him, I would think. But he just went over there and flopped on his back, and they started to do this. They're trying to stretch something, aren't they? Anyway, Keyshawn Johnson's caught 4 passes for 12 yards, so he probably wants some more passes for some more yardage.
2nd and 8. Pass caught by Fryer. Not enough for a first down. By a couple of yards short. There's the stretching going on. He's got his eyes covered. He doesn't know what's going on.
Well, you know, that could be a back thing. Remember a couple years ago, we were doing a Dallas Cowboy game in Arizona, and he sprained his back in the pregame. Didn't play.
Just buckled and couldn't even stand up straight. Davis. He got the first down and more. The cutback. Lynch up to make the stop. He stumbled. If he hadn't stumbled, I don't think he would have gotten it.
I've always liked Stephen Davis.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, because he's just a workhorse. I mean, he's the type of guy that is not going to just get easy yards. He's going to get you a big play, but he's going to get those tough yards, those short yardage yards, any type of thing that you need. And that was a big first down here for the Redskins. You see what he did with his mouthpiece?
Yep.
You play with your mouthpiece, and then when you're done, you stick it in your hat.
1st and 10, Washington. Sellers on the move, and the handoff is to Davis. The ball almost came loose. He was hit by Brooks, and the ball almost flew out of his hands, but he got it back.
I mean, that's the thing. He hits him. You see now every play, he takes a mouthpiece out, puts it right there in the top of his helmet, right there, and then waits until he gets the play, and then as he gets back up to the line of scrimmage, he'll take the mouthpiece out of the helmet and stick it in the mouth. Because when you're getting hit the way he just got hit on that last play, you better have that mouthpiece in the mouth.
91 yards for Davis. Brad Johnson lofts it down the middle, complete. Irving Fryer again.
Did you notice that when you get the running game going and you get, you know, Stephen Davis banging it in there, that the pass protection gets easier, and then if the pass protection gets easier, you can get these guys deep. See, they run a combination route. Two guys start out together. One guy goes out. Irving Fryar comes in, and Brad Johnson hits him perfectly.
A pickup of 23 yards. And you can see those linebackers moving up and becoming more concerned with the run. Davis. First down, Redskins inside the Buccaneer 15. Finally wrestled down by Brooks.
The players were always talking about, taking over a game. Who's going to take over a game? Don't you have the feeling that in the second half that Stephen Davis says he's going to take over the game? Watch him here. He gets a good block there. I know when he squares those shoulders, he just keeps the feet going. That's a big thing with a good running back. You always get a good block from a wide receiver anytime you get a big run. You see who it was that time? Irving Fryar, the guy who just made the catch on the play before that.
And Centers got a block on Lynch that took him out of the tackle. Davis hit behind the line this time by Lynch.
Yeah, Lynch had enough of that. That's enough. And this is where the Buccaneer defense always toughens up. And when you get down here, their goal now is to get a sack and knock you out a field goal. I mean, they were sitting and reading and stunting and all that stuff, and now they're going to blitz you. They're going to bring someone. They're going to put the pressure on you.
2nd and 12.
Get that loss, get you into a passing situation. You better watch the clock here.
Brad Johnson back to throw it to Centers, to the 10. Duncan on the stop.
See, that play by John Lynch was a big defensive play because now they had to go for that pass, and now they're still in 3rd and long, so they're in a passing thing. Had they not got that loss, then they could have been in a running situation or a run pass. Now this puts with 3rd down and about 7 or 8. This has to be a passing down for the Redskins.
Veteran Andre Reed just checked in on 3rd and 7. Johnson pump fake for Reed and overthrown and out of the end zone.
Now they're going to have to go for the field goal, but the thing that set that up was that play by John Lynch when he came in and tackled him for a loss. That was a big sideline. That would be the coaches.
29 yards out. With Barnhart holding, and Houston is very sure on that one with plenty of room left at the end. Kickoff by Houston, taken by Stecker. And Stecker's out to the 25. Watch left tackle.
Yeah, they do that quite a bit. They play Pete Pearson at left tackle in the first half, and then they get Hegeman more in there in the second half.
Allstott, maybe a yard.
And we talked about how the Buccaneers wanted to run to the outside. Look what happened. When they ran outside to the left, they tried it 4 times. They've only gained 3 yards. To the right, they've gone outside 3 times and haven't made any yards. So the only yardage they really had, the only success they've really had is running in the middle. But if they're going to be an offense, like I've said, they got to get a passing game going.
They haven't had much success running up the middle. This is Allstott. Straight ahead, up the middle.
And when Allstott carries the ball, he draws a crowd,
yes,
and then they know that he does have a little problem with that fumbling. And you notice all those guys punching him and going after the ball. Anytime he gets the ball, he's going to get a lot of tacklers. He's going to get a lot of guys going after the ball.
Dunn has averaged a yard, .1 a carry. Allstott 3, 3rd and 4. They need to throw it sounds like, based on those figures. Back to Dunn. Warwick Dunn is dropped in the secondary.
See, they have this Redskin defense is now just play and run all the way. I mean, they're swarming, they're gang tackling, they're all over the place.
In the meantime, over on the Redskins bench, they're working on Stephen Davis. But watch this play.
But this is what I'm talking about. I mean, now they're using their speed, and they're just getting to the outside. They're getting containment. They're not giving them any hole to get around. They're not giving them any cutback. They're not letting any place they go. There's going to be a white jersey, and then those white jerseys are throwing those helmets and shoulder pads.
Mark Royals back to punt to Deion Sanders. Deion's going to have a chance with this one.
You better get
Not
going.
much of a chance.
Not if you don't run, you're not going
To
to.
31. No. The Redskins have the ball, leading by 3. 6:05 left in the third quarter. Adrian Morrell is the deep back, and he gets the carry. Doesn't get much.
And there was something wrong with Stephen Davis in that last timeout. They were really working on him in the sideline there. It looked like they were, checking his head and eyes.
Yeah.
You can see they're checking him over there and looking in his eyes and doing those types of things. He's not in there. Usually when a player gets a concussion, the old trick is if you don't want him to play anymore, you hide his helmet on him.
Here's Brad Davis back to throw and throws up the middle. That's Morrell who made the reception. Right now for a game break, let's return to James Brown in Los Angeles.
If you want to keep abreast of how you're facing.
Down, not going to win anything. Look like the Packers are going to be back, and then boom, that happened.
Johnson has to unload in a hurry. Derek Brooks was blitzing.
And he was unblocked. Let's look at Stephen Davis again and see if maybe this isn't where it happened. Watch how his head hits the ground right there. And that was the last time he carried the ball.
Carl Williams back deep for the Bucs. Barnard's punt is a good one. Go the other way and backwards, and that's not very good choice. Williams lost ground. Reggie Gibbons was down to take him down. 10-7 Washington lead. Williams stays down. 1st and 10 Tampa. King being pursued, fires upfield. Dave Moore made the catch, the tight end.
And that's the thing that we talk about they have to do. And maybe this is part of the thing is take Sean King and get him out of the pocket. Maybe when he does this, you see he fakes here, then he bootlegs out here. Maybe, by getting out in the perimeter, he can see a little better, find some guys, and he just looks a lot more comfortable. Watch here, doesn't he? I mean, just running, off that fake and the bootleg and coming out there, he looks a lot more comfortable than he does in this situation where he's in a shotgun.
1st down, Tampa. Up the field to Dunn. Got about 6 or 7. Just got rid of it.
Yeah, I think you look at that last series that the Bucs had the ball and the Redskins were just swarming all over their run. So I think they said we have to be able to pass. So they put Pete Pearson back in at left tackle, and what happens? Lo and behold, here comes Bruce Smith. Watch the move that Bruce Smith puts on him, and he's right there on Sean King.
2nd down, Keyshawn Johnson on the move, and the handoff is to Allstott. And he'll surge far enough to get close to a 1st down. It looks like he got it.
But it is something on this offense, the way you have to mix up things, isn't it? We saw the Redskins when they started to run Stephen Davis, that calmed down their pass rush, the pass protection, then they were able to hit some things. Now you take the Buccaneers, they run. Now they hit a couple of passes, and that's going to open up some running lanes if they can continue to throw the ball.
On 1st and 10. Behind Patrick Hayes.
You look at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, their weapons, and Mike Allstott has a 3.1 rushing average, and Warwick Dunn has 0.2, and Keyshawn Johnson has 3.0 yards. And that's not enough. I mean, that's obvious that.
Not when those are your guns.
Yeah, and I mean, there you're not running it or throwing it. The Redskins are playing great defense.
King up the middle. Pass caught again by Moore.
That's the area that they're trying to work now. I mean, you can see that they figure that the Redskins are starting to go a little that cover two, where the corners are up and the safeties are off. And the area to work in that cover two is the middle, and that's the area that the Buccaneers in their passing game have worked on this drive.
Find that little seam. Shot plays Green, split wide to the left. Allstott's the deep back. And the handoff is to Allstott, and he's hit behind the line by Sean Barber.
Sean Barber's a guy that's really improved and really been a big part of this Redskin defense, and he is here. He's going to get the penetration. I mean, you see, he just starts in here, and he gets penetration, and he gets in the backfield right at that point before Allstott can get started. And if you're going to tackle Allstott, you have to get him before he gets his shoulders square and that momentum going. You got to get him before he gets started.
2nd and 10. Sean King had no chance. Unblocked was LeVar Arrington. Flag on the play.
LeVar Arrington's so happy with himself, isn't he? I mean, that's where I think he can be the best. LeVar Arrington is a pass rusher. Here he came from that left side.
Offside, 56, defense, 5 yards, still second down.
Got there so quick.
Yeah, you gotta jump on the whole thing. Watch him. Here he is, right down here in the bottom. Now
he lined up offside.
Well, he's lined up offsides, and then he put his hand in there in that neutral zone, which is the length of the football. Still not bad, though. I mean,
no.
He has that quickness and that body lean that a pass rusher has. King's starting to show a little life now here. It looked like they were, trying to get some running going, and then when they couldn't, their passing game looked awfully lethargic.
2nd and 5 now. 1:05 left to play in the 3rd quarter. 10-7 Washington lead. Sean King signaling both directions. Gotta hurry. Does. Gets away from one rusher, and now Sean King is going to get a first down for the Buccaneers. Out of bounds.
And that rusher was Marco Coleman. He had a shot at him, and he's really upset with himself because that's a big play. Not only do the Redskins miss it, but it gives them a first down.
Watch Warwick Dunn's block.
Yep, right there. Boom. That'll open up the old nostrils.
That's on Mark Carrier.
Mark Carrier was trying to get his bearings, but Marco Coleman had him. Marco Coleman was free, and he had Sean King back there.
1st and 10, Tampa Bay. Hand off to Allstott, and he plows ahead and crosses the 30 to about the 28.
Again, once you get some things going, and on this drive, this has been a long drive and a very good drive by the Bucs, but they've had good mixture. They've had some drop back passing, they've had some bootleg passing, they've had Sean King, the quarterback, run.
Trump traveled 63 miles an hour. Good pictures, and Allstott gets good yardage.
Well, now that's contact down there. Did you hear that? We were watching it from the old monster blimp. Old Allstott brought a monster in there on those guys. That's the thing that he does. I mean, he runs and he gets in there behind those pads. We're going to have a sunset here pretty soon, aren't we?
It looks like it.
I've only seen like 2 sunsets.
I remember
one in Dallas was the first time I ever actually saw the sunset in my life on television.
King gives again to Allstott. Right now for a game break, James Brown in Los Angeles. Well, breathtaking.
Now you're talking.
2nd and 10. Here's King looking for someplace to go. Lofts it out of bounds. Deion Sanders covering Jacquez Green.
Yeah, we talk about the stunts. Let's watch a stunt here. That's where this tackle's going out and the end comes in. But they do a pretty good job. You see, McDaniel missed it, but Mike Allstott had to come in and help him. Pearson does a good job of staying with Stubblefield. See, when you get that, you have to zone it. So the guy who was going to block the end blocks the tackle. The guy who was going to block the tackle blocks the end. And if they miss that, the fullback Allstott's there to help him.
3rd and 9, the 12th play of this drive. King lined up in the shotgun, and the crowd hoping they can't hear it. Here comes an all-out blitz. King had Warwick done, but he couldn't quite catch up with it.
Oh, and that was one of the things that they were trying to get. They were trying to get Warwick Dunn on the linebackers. They were talking about Sean Barber, but that was LeVar Arrington.
Yes, it was.
And they get him out here, and he just has man-to-man. You see him right here. He started, and he just flew by him. Warwick Dunn had LeVar Arrington beaten, and Sean King didn't get him the ball. Arrington started up, and Dunn went right by him, and Arrington grabbed him.
Martin Gramatica from 40 yards to try to tie it. Snap's good, holds good. Field goal is not good. Flag on the play. A penalty marker down. I see George Hageman pointing in the other direction. They might get another shot. No, it's against Tampa Bay.
Holding, 83, offense, penalties decline. Field goal, no good.
And so the lead remains 10-7. The Redskins 5-3 over Tampa Bay.
And he has to block 3 guys. 1, 2, 3. And they called a penalty on him. But that ball was tipped by David Terrell.
Davis is back in the game, and he gets the carry.
Let's watch that. Pat, let's watch that thing one more time, and you're going to see David Terrell, number 31, is going to come in right there. And see, he's going to tip that ball and knock it out of there.
Yep. That's a heck of a play.
I know it. He's going to knock it askew is what he knocked it. And then because it went askew, it didn't go through the pipes.
Most of the times when you go askew, it's not good.
No, it's not. It's good for the guy who's knocked it askew. It's not good for the guy who's been knocked askew.
2nd and 9. Davis is the deep back. But Brad Johnson's going to throw incomplete. Intended for Stephen Davis.
You know, Stephen Davis, remember we saw that shot where he hit his head, and then they were working with him on the sidelines, and they said that they just wanted to give him a series or 2 to get his head cleared. Now his head is cleared, so he's back in there. Norv Turner calling the plays. Norv Turner, as I said earlier, one of the most aggressive play callers in the league. And he has to be on this down. I mean, 3rd and long, he has to go for something here.
10-7 the score. Defensive battle has been from the beginning. South hits Johnson just as he let it go to Larry Centers. The pass is complete, but not enough for a first.
Yeah, watch Warren Sapp here. I mean, the way he gets upfield and uses his hands and keeps his feet going all the time. What? He gets a slap with that right, then puts a left inside, and he's just too quick. I mean, that's the thing. You know, I mean, Sims is sitting there, and he just slaps with that right hand, gets that left arm inside, and then he's right on Brad Johnson.
Jacquez Green back deep for the Buccaneers. It had been Williams, but he was out with a knee injury. Barnhart's punt is a good one, and Jacquez Green trying to cut back toward midfield. A flag on the play.
You know, you always talk about intensity. You have preseason intensity, regular season intensity, and you have postseason intensity. This is very close. The way they're playing this and tackling and blocking, very close to postseason intensity.
Playoff intensity. Walt Coleman again as the referee.
Anytime you see an official with his hat off, something happened out of bounds, because he throws his hat when a player goes out of bounds. This is going to be something that happened when the player went out of bounds, and that always happens on a punt. Either the coverage guy or the return guy, will at some point go out of bounds, and then they have to get back in.
This will move the Buccaneers back.
Back and back.
Personal foul on the return team, number 34. Went out of bounds, hit the kicking team player, half the distance to the goal. First down.
They're going to call right there as he goes out of bounds. And then he just comes back in, and he won't let him come back in. He went out of bounds and hit him again. Put you in jail for that.
Tough life out there. Washington 10, Tampa Bay 7. Long way to go for the Buccaneers.
Listen to this crowd. They're really trying to fire up their defense, because they know if they get a play down here, and if they can get a fumble, an interception, do something down here, they're going to have great field position, or in this position, a defense can even score from here. That's what these people are thinking of.
Allstott comes in motion. And here is King back to throw, and he's going to be sacked behind the line of scrimmage. It's Marco Coleman again.
Now, one of the things playing the right end, which Marco Coleman did all his career, you play better players as left tackles. When you get over here on this side, the right tackles aren't as good. And I think that's one of the reasons that Marco Coleman is saying, hey, this isn't bad playing over here on this side.
They lost the right tackle in. Jerry once blocked down, and he went inside Allstott.
See, now these Redskins fans are thinking, let him go back to pass here and we can get a safety.
Yep. And King is coming out. This is going to be a Buccaneer timeout.
And there's no one that's really good.
James Cameron, the director of The Terminator, brings you his new series, Dark Angel. 2-hour premiere kicks off Tuesday at 9, 8 Central after the season premieres of That 70s Show and Titus. Dark Angel.
Now I wonder if defensive coordinator Ray Rhodes will blitz here.
2nd and 15. To Allstott, who gets a little bit of room, but not nearly enough to move the sticks.
Well, the one thing it did get him enough room for, Pat, is the punter. The first thing, your first goal, and there's Les Steckel, the offensive coordinator, your first goal is to get the ball beyond the 5-yard line. Because when you're beyond the 5-yard line, at least your punter has his normal 15 yards.
3rd and 12. Got to be careful here. King goes deep for Keyshawn. Pass is almost intercepted by Champ Bailey.
Champ Bailey was really in better position to catch that ball than Keyshawn Johnson. There's always talk about Champ Bailey playing some offense, and the Redskins, when they were looking for some more speed for that offense, thought about it, but it's really tough in this league to play defensive back and wide receiver.
Royals punt comes to Deion Sanders, who signals fair catch and makes it at the 50. As you mentioned, John, Washington will take over.
That's what he's arguing about. Watch him. He gets knocked out of bounds. Then he comes back in. Now watch what happens to him here. What? You can't do that.
Here's Davis. Knocked out of bounds by Lynch and Robinson.
Now I think the Redskins have good field position here, and what they want to do, you get into the fourth quarter and you have 3 goals. You want to knock some time off the clock because you have the lead. You want to mix the pass and the run. You just can't run all the time because they're not going to let you. And then you want to get in position to score and eventually score.
2nd and 6. Sellers takes the short toss from Brad Johnson.
And that's why Derek Brooks is maybe the best linebacker in all of football. You know, if Sellers catches that ball and makes a first down, you wouldn't even notice it. You would say, well, that was a good pass. Brad Johnson hit Sellers, he got a first down. But Derek Brooks comes out there and makes a big play. Instead of first down, now you're 3rd down, and you have to convert that first down. You're not in field goal position.
3rd and 3. Numbers on Johnson. Here's Davis. He won't get the first. And too far away for a field goal.
And that was a big play.
Yes, it was.
I go back that this one here is okay, but the one before that with Derek Brooks was a big play. That's the middle of the defense here. You see, these guys aren't big, this defensive line. That was Chidi Ahanachu who came in and made the play. But they're always stunning and slanting.
And it seems like they're always slanting into the play, into the hole.
Well, what they'll do is they'll bring John Lynch up and then slant away from him. So you either run into John Lynch or you run into their slant. Because they're not a 2-gap team. They're just a 1-gap team, and they're 1 gap short. So that extra gap has to be taken up by a safety.
Tommy Barnhart's 9th punt coming up. Nobody back. They'll let it roll. Flag on the play.
What they did, I'm not sure.
5 yards, still 4th down.
Tampa Bay was in a return, and then they all shifted to come into a block.
Jaquez Green is deep to receive the punt, but they were going to try to block it.
They were going to try and block, and then when you go on the block, then you don't have any return at all. Usually when you just have single guys out here in the gunners, you are going for a block. It looks like they're loaded on this side, and it looks like they are going for a block.
You leave the gunners alone. Barnhart lines it down the middle, and it's going to roll dead. Got to the end zone, I believe, or maybe it didn't. It's very close. Yes, it did. Just the end of the ball touched the goal line, and that's enough.
That's going to be, or did the Redskin that hit the ball, was he in the thing?
Tyrone Drakeford close to the ball.
I don't know. That's awfully close.
That's close.
I'd like to take another look at that.
Well, I'm sure we can oblige you.
You think so?
Yeah. Call the touchback, and they move it out to the 20.
I guess maybe I can't be obliged.
I guess not.
Maybe I'm the only one that cares.
Here it is. Here it is.
I don't know. You think the ball touched it?
No, I didn't. The sack by Marco Coleman. What a day he's had.
Yeah, we've seen guys at left ends have big days against this Tampa Bay right tackle, whether it's Odom or it's Wunsch. Remember Reggie White? It seemed like every time he played against these guys, he would have 4 or 5 sacks. That's Coleman's 3rd sack today. But he's a different guy over there. I mean,
he really is.
He has to be loving this. And then we talk about how Bruce Smith is, we talk about the tackles, but Bruce Smith has also helped Marco Coleman, because it got him from this side over to this side, and it's a lot easier to rush from this side. They're going to keep a tight end in here now and have an extra blocker on him.
2nd and 14. Here's Sean King, and down he goes again. Well, he got away from the blitz. And Keyshawn Johnson's got the ball, and he fumbles it. And the Redskins get it back.
What a play. It all started with Bruce Keyshawn Johnson got away from Bruce Smith. And he got it. Watch, here's Bruce Smith. He's going to go inside of George Hageman. See, he makes a spinner, goes inside. Now he's going to have Sean King right there. Sean King gets away from Bruce Smith. Pretty strong legs, and then he's still looking, and he makes a heck of a throw when he finds Keyshawn Johnson. And Keyshawn Johnson, the other end, gets hit, and he fumbled. That's a pretty good effort there by Sean King.
Keyshawn makes the grab, a juggler.
He just put it away when he got that hit, and then the ball was stripped out of him by Darrell Green.
And here's Davis. A couple of yards. For a game break, let's return to James Brown in Los Angeles. Back here, not what you call plenty of time if you're a Tampa Bay Buccaneer fan. Less than 7 minutes. Washington has the ball at the Buck 23. 2nd and 7. Davis deep. Johnson gives to Stephen Davis. Throw to the 20.
Isn't it something that, Darrell Green for so many years has made so many big plays here, and he comes in today and he makes an interception, and then they just make that completion there to Keyshawn Johnson, and it was Darrell Green who stripped the ball out of there. This guy is making big plays and helping these Washington Redskins win for so many years.
Tell me he looks 40 years old.
No, he's something special. I mean, he has that, he still has that bounce in his walk and that sparkle in his eye.
Johnson back to throw. Has time. Has the pass complete to Larry. Centers down to the 11.
I'll tell you one thing. Brad Johnson was a tough guy today. I mean, that beating that he took in the first quarter, and then he just hung in there, kept his